Hello everybody, this is Kyle Ott, of course, for Draftradio. First off, I'd like to apologize for my voice. I know it's not exactly up to snuff, but that's okay. And then I know that this is a Theros block draft, and that a lot of my good old fellow grinders out there went to the M15 pre-release, had a great time, but we still got Theros for a little while longer, which means we're still going to grind out a couple more drafts. And I got a bottle full of water, and some cough drops, and some magic. So, life is sweet. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about this pack. We've got a Gnarled Scarhide, which I like quite a bit. Nice little aggressive card. O-Card Dryads, which is fast becoming one of my favorite commons in the format. Just such a great way to boost your guys and swing in, do some damage. Love Warwing Siren. Just an efficient flyer. Phenomenal card. But, I mean, Banishing Light is just insane. So we're going to take Banishing Light here. Alright, what do we got? We've got a Thassa's Devourer, which is a card that those of you who watched our Blue-Black Mill matchup know that I love Thassa's Devourer a lot. There's some other stuff too. Cyclops of Eternal Fury, which is a card that just doesn't impress me very much. I mean, yeah, sometimes you win games with it, but most of the time it's the 6-drop that gets outclassed by anything that has 3 power on the board. There's also a Crone Mastiff, which is a fine 4-drop. Rollick of Abandon, which is honestly just really expensive Pyroclasm. Blade Tusk Boar, however, is going to be the pick that we make. I don't mind being in red, white, and Blade Tusk Boar is just such a great evasive creature. Sorry, guys, I'm just checking the chat. We had a draft crash a little bit earlier, so I'm trying to make sure we don't get that again. But I think Blade Tusk Boar is going to be the pick. Just nice, strong, evasive stuff. There's a Sky Spear Captain Cavalry, which is fine too, but, you know, it's no 4-drop. Ooh. So this is a little bit interesting. And we'll talk a little bit about this, but there's some good stuff in the pack. Certainly, Bloodcrazed Hoplite is good if you're in the black archetype, Supply Line Cranes, Harvest Guard, Alceids, Aerial Formation. But the cards that I'm looking at happen to be Strength of the Fallen, or Strength from the Fallen, and Oresco Swiftclaw. Now, the Swiftclaw goes very well with our first pick Banishing Light, but Strength of the Fallen is just honestly a win condition onto itself, and there's a lot of fun stuff that you can do to build around it. I actually think Strength of the Fallen is probably the best card out of this pack, and that's what we're going to go with. We're certainly not married to our first pick in any way, shape, or form. Especially not when we get an O-Card Dryads, which I like quite a bit. It's going to trigger the Constellation on that Strength of the Fallen. Nice aggressive drop. I mean, there's some other good stuff in here. Triton Cavalry is fine. Cloaked Siren is decent. Starfall is okay. I like Pharika's Chosen and its green cousin Sedge Scorpion quite a bit as well. But O-Card Dryads is the pick here, I think, for us. Alright, so what else do we have? These packs have been pretty weak overall, I think. There's a Harvest Guard Alceids, which I don't mind taking. We can be like a green-white Constellation mini-theme. Prevents a lot of damage, lets our guys keep swinging through. Crone Mastiff is pretty good as well. Fairies Band, Thunderhoof is meh. I mean, you honestly can just get anything that... There's like a million other creatures in Born of the Gods and Theros that have abilities like Thunderhoof. Although I do like Thunderhoof more than I like Staunch-Hearted Warrior, for example. I'm always underwhelmed by Staunch-Hearted Warrior. There's also a Stonewise Fortifier, which we hope to wheel out of this pack, but gonna grab the Harvest Guard Alceids, as it fits our fun little theme. Now there's some good stuff here. Armament of Nyx is cool. It gives our enchantment creatures double strike, but, you know, it's meh-ish. There's another Fairies Band Thunderhoof, Nyx Infusion. A card that I like quite a bit is Nyx Infusion. Thassa's Devourer, again, my love for the Blue-Black Mill. Those of you who watched Coots and I's match with the Blue-Black Mill know that I love this card. But this is still Theros block, and we want some aggressive creatures, so Oresco Swiftclaw it is. Now, it's another Thassa's Devourer. Rotted Hulk is fine. Desperate Stand is okay, but we're just going to take the Grove Dancer. I mean, most of the time this is going to be a bear, but sometimes it's going to pump our guys and let them get in through and do some damage. Alright, that is another Nyx Infusion. I don't need a second Grove Dancer, I'm sure. Although maybe I do. Maybe I want to be super aggressive. There's also a Golden Hydox, which is a card that I haven't played with before. Maybe Golden Hydox is actually pretty good. So this is my motto. If you're not playing for too much, and you know it's getting towards the end of the block and you haven't tried a card, try it. So Golden Hydox it is. Really happy that we wheeled that O-Card Dryads. It's going to fit really nicely with this Constellation theme that we've got going on. Keep us aggressive as well. Nature's Panoply. I dig it. Again, we don't really need another Grove Dancer. I will take a second Harvest Guard Alceids, however. So this is cool. This is shaping up to be like a weird sort of constellation theme. We got a nice low aggressive curve. We got our combat tricks and strength from the fallen, golden Hydox to make them block our creatures. It'd be cool if we had like golden Hydox and then Harvest Guard Elciad and then Oakheart Dryads and swing with somebody, make them block, they lose a guy, and we just prevent all the damage to it. I mean, that is nice. That's what I want. That is definitely what I want. Who's taking a while? Wally won and failed Shaman. I tell you what, you guys on TapTap come up with like the most creative names. It's just they're just funny. We even have one way to reach out and touch somebody. While we're at a nice little pause in the draft, I want to take this moment to thank everybody who's made Draftradio a success. Seriously, we've hit our 300th view on YouTube. I know that doesn't sound like much, and it probably isn't, but it's something that I like quite a bit, and I'm really thankful for. We're just going to take Triton Cavalry. And we wield Stonewise Fortifier, so we didn't even need the other 2 drops. Look at that, got Stonewise Fortifier. But in all seriousness, guys, thank you so much. I mean, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but 300 views for a channel that started like 2 weeks ago, doing something that's has a relatively small interest group. I mean, in terms of everyone on YouTube, I know Magic is a pretty big hobby, but just a small interest group in terms of the sheer number of people and interest involved in it. It's been a huge blessing. Thank you guys so much for making it a success. And thank you, of course, to everyone who's come out here and done some drafts with us. You know what? It's been enjoyable. All right, so this pack is a bust for us. There's a Pillar of War, a Mortal's Resolve, a Hold at Bay. I actually really like Hold at Bay if you're playing Heroic, because most of the time you're just going to use it to win a combat and tick up your guy, but sometimes you can just use it to win the game. It's not great. Like, by all means, cut it if you know you're sure, like, you need a lot to cut. But if you're desperate for a 23rd playable and you're in this color, it's not bad. So let's talk about the best cards in this pack before we talk about our card. Kiora's Follower, phenomenal. This card is part of the reason that blue-green is one of the best archetypes in the format. I mean, it gives your creatures pseudo-vigilance, you can tap and get some mana done. It's probably the best card in the pack, actually, although Kragma Butcher and Farrax Giant are both super, super competitive. Eater of Hope is a card that I'm just not impressed with. But we're going to take Pillar of War, and the reason we're taking Pillar of War, if we want to be a little more defensive, we can be, but we're really hoping to get like a Chosen by Heliod or Karametra's Favor or something like that to put on our guy. I definitely like a Crone Skyguard, although there's a Nyxborn Shieldmate and an Archetype of Imagination. We're going to take Nyxborn Shieldmate. Nyxborn Shieldmate is going to, give us those all-important ticks off of our Oakheart Dryads and our Harvest Guard Alcids, but it's also going to give us a way to make that Pillar of War work. So Nyxborn Shieldmate is the pick there. We're going to take Swordwise Centaur. I mean, we've got one thing that ticks up Heroic, which is fine, but I don't think we're the Heroic deck necessarily. I'd like to be a little more aggressive. It's a shame that we're passing a ton of good blue. I mean, this guy's insane. Retraction Helix is great. Nullify is great. But I've never done green-white Constellation, so... Although we could take Noble Quarry. Actually, Noble Quarry is... Yeah, we'll take Noble Quarry. Why not, right? We'll stick to the theme. There's a theme draft, sucker. Plus, we can bestow it on our pillar. Silent Sentinel. You may return target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Interesting. So the choice between Silent Sentinel, which is probably not going to wheel, or Nyxborn Shieldmate, which also probably not going to wheel. I haven't played Silent Sentinel, and maybe we probably want Nyxborn Shieldmate, though. And although I do want to play with Silent Sentinel, and the art is really cool on that one, but Nyxborn Shieldmate is what we want. We're lower, we're aggressive. That's going to trigger stuff when it comes into play, make that Pillar of War viable. Other words that I'd like to say. Now, we get a respectable curve topper anyway. Fairies Band Raiders is great. When we get those enchantment creatures into play, it's going to trigger all of our stuff. There's also an Excoriate, which I don't mind taking, but I think having a strong curve topper is a little bit better. All right. Now, the choice between Demolock or Skirmisher. I like Skirmisher quite a bit, although I think Demolock is better, just in a shell. I mean, we're going to be able to blow up enchantments and stuff like that, so I like enchantment. I like killing enchantments in this format. That is good. We'll take Sword by Centaur. I'm bummed that apparently blue is just suddenly wide open, which is odd because we've been reading good signals. But that's okay. I think our deck was shaping up to be pretty decent anyway, and I like Swordwise Centaur quite a bit. There's also Mortals resolve in there too. But like I said, I don't think we're trying to be the heroic deck, and at this point I'd rather have just another aggressive, really super, like there's a huge difference between Swordwise Centaur and Satyr Grove Dancer in terms of 2-drops. Huge difference. Huge, huge, huge. Ooh, we get a third Nyxborn Shieldmate? Yes, please. There's a Sudden Storm that we're passing as well. I really like Sudden Storm, and I'm really sad that we're passing that card, but c'est la vie, right? Beggars can't be choosers. Maybe we could have switched to blue-green in this set, but I mean, we got 3 Nyxborn Shieldmates. That's pretty good. I mean, if we're trying to be super aggressive, we'll take the Hold to Bay. I mean, it's playable, it's in our colors. The Test and Starbreaker is pretty atrocious. Greatheart is fine. I mean, if you're absolutely desperate, but I'd rather have Hold to Bay. We're gonna hate Draft Archetype of Imagination. Stratus Walk and I'm not gonna play Gorgon's Head. Stratus Walk is fine, and this card is an absolute blowout. Same with Nullify. Divination, I guess. If they play I'm happy if they play Kraken of the Straits against me, because by that point they're probably dead. We'll take another Hold Up Bay in case we're desperate for playables. That was a weird pack. A lot of good blue. But I mean, I'm happy with this. In all honesty, we got some good stuff for the deck. This Pillar of War and those 3 Shieldmates is nothing to slouch at if you're playing super aggressive. And in all honesty, too, like we could play 16 land and then just cut Golden Hydrox and Fairies Band Raiders. Alright, and we get to hate draft a Sudden Storm. That makes me happy. Makes me really happy that I don't have to play against that card. Jesus, that card's a blowout if you've ever played against it and just been beaten by it. You're just like, crap. Sudden Storm is so good. Alright, now what are we hoping to open, I guess, in Theros? Chosen by Heliod would be sweet. I would really like to see a Leaf Crown Dryad. Or an Elspeth. Hey, that's great. I mean, it sucks because we're passing great stuff like Time to Feed, Leaf Crown Dryad, Wingsteed Rider, Lagana Band Elder. Realistically, we might get Time to Feed, we might get Lagana Band Elder, we may get Feral Invocation, but nope, we're taking Elspeth. Planeswalkers win games. Just a little bit. Yeah, and I think we're still going to play 17 land anyway. Just so we can cast stuff like our Swordwise Centaur and our Demolux, and then our Elspeth. My god. This is the first Elspeth that I've ever opened in online drafts or in actual physical drafts. I mean, that's kind of impressive that I'm getting it. Ooh, Dauntless Onslaught, Chosen by Heliod. Sticking to our theme, I think I want Chosen by Heliod. Although Dauntless Onslaught's I think I'm taking Onslaught here. Onslaught's just too good, right? Yeah. There's also a Sedge Scorpion and a Time Defeat in our colors. That's another Disciple too, by the way. But Dauntless Onslaught, it's really good. Ooh, this is actually an interesting pick for us. There's some good stuff in the pack too. There's an Ordeal, Wavecrash Triton, Skullcleaver, Scourge Mark, all good stuff, but not what we're interested in. Now, we've got a Hopeful Eidolon and a Leaf Crown Dryad. Now, both of these cards are great because they tick up our Constellation madness. They're both decent. I'm going to take Leaf Crown Dryad, however, for several reasons, and here's why. A, for the same cost, I'm getting way more power and toughness. And yes, the lifelink is absurd. However, with this deck being as aggressive as it's looking to be, I want a bestow creature that I can play as a 2-drop and still feel confident in. Also, Green-White's biggest weakness is flyers, and honestly, this reach is a pretty big deal. Oh, wow. This pack is just nothing but beautifulness for us. Okay, so the pick for us is between Nylea's Disciple and Nylea's Emissary. We're going to take the Emissary. Trample is absurd. And we get a good 2-drop. Am I even going to play this 2-drop? Yeah, I probably will. I'll play Traveling Philosopher. I know a lot of people really like... what's the other card that I took over Traveling Philosopher? Can't even remember. I took it so fast. Okay, so that's besides the point, though. So good. Oh my god, these packs have been insane for us. There's a Voyaging Satyr, which I like quite a bit. Nylea's Disciple, which is great. However, we're going to take the Divine Verdict. This deck just simply needs ways to reach out and touch somebody, and this is it. And we get another Leaf Crown Dryad. Super satisfied with that. There's nothing else in the pack even worth considering. I mean, maybe Opaline Unicorn. Alright, so let's just start cutting these hold-up bays. Also, I'm really super happy we took this Pillar of War now, because now we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bestow creatures to put on it. That just make it a beast of a creature now. Yeah, this deck is turning out to be pretty sweet. I'm not going to lie. I mean, we can still cut some good. There's still plenty of stuff to cut. God's Willing is phenomenal, but Sedge Scorpion is a competitive 1-drop. This is a really late sip of Hemlock too, just to, give you some perspective. But love me a Sedge Scorpion. And I'm sure people like God. People are like, "Oh my God, God's Willing is so good." But I promise you, you're overvaluing God's Willing. It is not that good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's phenomenal. But if we run into ground-based Voltrons, Sedge Scorpion is just amazing. And this is the set where you spend your whole time battling ground-based Voltrons. So we're taking Sedge Scorpion. There's probably like a deal with it gif out there somewhere. Another Leaf Crown Dryad. Absurd. Just nothing but straight aggressive cards and happy feelings for days. Yeah, this deck is shaping up to be pretty sweet. We can actually probably cut this Traveling Philosopher too. I mean, I already have decent 2-drops. Like I have Swift Claw and Satyr Grove Dancer and Swordwise Centaur. The Dryads are absurd now. I probably wind up cutting another 2-drop too. Man, this is nice. This deck turned out to be really sweet. I am super happy that we stayed the course and stuck it out. Alright, so there's nothing that we really want. So what are we going to take? Probably Wave Crash Titan. It's the most annoying card. It blocks our guys pretty well, and it can tap down our big threats. So we're going to take that. There's also Titan of Eternal Flame, which is a card flavor-wise that I like. And I actually like Loathsome Catoblepus. I've watched Luis Scott Vargas use this a couple times, and he really likes it. And I share his sympathies. It's not a terrible 23rd card. It actually does stuff. Unlike, Boulder Fall, which does nothing. I'm not going to place a Testing Griffin, and I'm definitely going to hate draft the Wave Crash Titans. Alright, so we've hate drafted 3 Wave Crash Titans. Ha! Take that. 1/4 walls. Ooh, Cavalry Pegasus would be insane if we had a lot of humans. We do not. As it is, I would rather never run into Scholar of Athreos. Despite how long this block has been out, there's still, too many people don't realize how great Scholar is. There's the Boulder Fall that I absolutely loathe. Oh, Boulder Fall, how crappy you are. Glorious. This deck looks insane, actually. We've got 3 Leaf Crown Dryads, 3 Nyxborn Shieldmates. Yeah, this deck's sweet. Banishing Light, Divine Verdict. Alright, let's make ourselves an awesome deck. Now, chances are, with as good as this deck is, I'm going to Mana Screw, and I'm most likely going to die. But, man oh man, is it exciting to look at the possibilities now. Alright, so 24, 26, 27. Okay, so obviously we're cutting Elspeth. Kidding. Totally kidding. Alright, so what can we cut, however? I think this slot is decent. I mean, we can cut Nature's Panoply, I think. But we're definitely leaving Dauntless Onslaught and Divine Verdict. Both these cards are just really good. Banishing Light for sure. Strength from the Fallen, actually, because it's one of our win conditions. And Elspeth, because it's another win condition. So that, gotta leave all of those in. And I'm not too excited about missing Nature's Panoply. Being like, oh no, I don't have one combat trick. Well, it doesn't really matter. So what do we want to cut then? Looking at our 2-drop slot, we just have a ton of 2-drops. Which is great. This deck wants a ton of 2-drops. I think we can safely take out. I'm going to take out Swordwise Centaur. It's harder on our mana requirements. In all honesty, it's more likely to sit in our hand than anything else. And we've already got 3 2-drop. Yeah, we've got plenty of 2-drops. We can afford to cut one of them, I think. Despite how competitive 2-drops are in the format. So 25, so we got to cut 2 more cards. I think we're gonna cut one of our 6-drops. And so it's either going to be Fairies Band Raiders or Golden Hide Ox. Now, both of these cards are excellent. And, I like them quite a bit. However, I'd rather have the Constellation ability off Golden Hide Ox. And to be perfectly honest with you, I think they're comparable as cards. And I've already played with Fairies Band Raiders a bunch. It's a card that I love quite a bit. But I've played with it before, and I don't know how many more drafts of this format that I'm going to get out. So I want to try Golden Hide Ox out. And that might be a mispick. You guys can put that down in the comments if it is or not. In all honesty, it probably is. But you know what? Gosh darn it, I want it. I want to run it. I do. Because it's fun. It's fun. It's just, you got to do stuff like that. So we're 21, 23, 24. We definitely still need to be playing 17 lands, I think. We've got a Golden Hinox. We have an Elspeth. Our 4 drops are important because we want to get to that 4 so we can start bestowing our Leaf Crown Dryads. Certainly, we could be running a super aggressive deck. We don't necessarily need to. I'm going to take Satyr Grove Dancer out. I actually really like Stonewise Fortifier. If we load this guy up and we can use that ability and that's actually relevant. Whereas most of the time, this is just going to be a bear. I mean, most of the time, Stonewise Fortifier is going to be a bear as well. But in all honesty, that ability has been quite useful more times than this one has been. In my personal experience. Now, again, that's my personal experience. Could be, could definitely be wrong there. All right. And that's going to be our deck, ladies and germs. Let's go to decks. Jankster's Delight. We've been spending most our lives living in a Jankster's paradise. Jankster's Paradise. Obviously. By the way, I did a draft of the Onslaught block the other day, which is like Lorwyn's grandfather, and it was amazing. Love Onslaught. All right, so we got 11 to 12. I think we're just going to do the... Well, actually, let's look at our 2-drop slot. Yeah, that's predominantly green. So we're going to do the classic 9-8 split. There's no shame in that, so we're going to do 9 Forest and 8 Plains. All right, excellent. And we have to change Strength of the Fallen. It's not Strength of the Fallen, it's Strength from the Fallen. This is one of the problems with the tapped out programming is they got the name wrong. But other than that, it's great. And let's do the card check. Jankster's Paradise is at 40 cards. All right, guys. With that being said, we are about to go into round 1. All right, I will see you then.